have a one-on-one. They invited me up there to try to make it look like they're about to have a 2v2. They was schooling Klaus on something that he didn't understand. And then when I tried to answer it, they muted me and then just told me to sit there and be quiet. And then all of a sudden Klaus said, "Oh, I didn't want Car up there anyways." I said, "All right, bet," and I just left. I'm sitting up there being muted. I'm not supposed to sit there being muted if I'm not wanted up there.
And then they said that you ran, but who said that? Edna?
That's what I was told. I was told that Edna and Liberty said I ran.
Oh, we said you ran and left the claws, the furry that you were up there defending. And
I never defended him. I came up there and said he was wrong. Where did I defend him at?
The only reason I muted you was because he was supposed to be answering a question that I asked him and he didn't answer. So I muted you and told you to wait until he answered and then you could go ahead and say what you wanted to say. Because he was pivoting and he was asking you a question or asking.
No, he asked me for a source and see if I had a source on hand. And then when I read back to the live to give him the source and tell him his source, if he's saying that these people are producing large game baits, they're not. There's only indication that they might have, but it's still not a definitive answer. And then I was invited up to the live. And then said, "Oh, we're supposed to have a 2v2," and Klaus kept declining, like he didn't want it to be 2, but you guys kept tag teaming him, and he literally said he didn't want my help.
I wasn't tag teaming him though. He liberated, stopped speaking, and I tried to debate him. He just didn't want to. I don't know why that man is speaking. He wanted to debate liberated. No, you're not. He wanted liberated to speak.
No, I'm not a man.
Only I don't know who you're talking to, sir. So yeah, that's basically what happened.
Okay.
Right. So nobody said that you ran. We're just saying that you left Claus.
Well, yeah, he told me he didn't want me up there, so why would I stay up there?
Well, he didn't want you up there because he knew that if you were up there, he would have to engage with me because it was going to become a 2v2, and he didn't want that because obviously he was going to lose, and he did lose. So.
I wouldn't listen to you.
That's all. Anything else? Is there anything else, Faye?
Yeah. Do you want to debate Car?
No, I want to debate you.
I don't want to debate you, Hal.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
Why?
Why don't you want to debate Car?
No, I don't have a problem debating Car, but I want to debate you.
Why? Why can't we have a special discourse?
Because we can, but Faye changed the definition of woman from the last time, so I want to address that definition.
You lose the
Wait, Edna, you still hold to like...
I want you to debate me, but you know I don't change the definition of woman.
You probably have, but all right.
Wait, do you still hold to like the necessary condition? This is in reference to you, Edna. Do you still hold like a functioning sex determining region of the Y chromosome? Like
it's a conjunction. It's a conjunction of those things. Yes.
Those aren't necessary.
They are necessary.
No, they're not.
Okay, so give an example of a male with all
that's
those
a negative
things.
claim. I don't have to give an example of anything. You have to prove.
Okay, well then I already explained how the genes work.
Well, you failed to do that more than once. There you go. You lost.
What you asked for, sir, was a source, and I told you that that sources are not going to give necessary conditions. Not going to outline them like that because when you ask a person about necessary conditions, that's a philosophical question. So science is not going to outline those necessary conditions. However, what you can do is you can look at the function of the genes and look at what the purpose is. And if the purpose of the genes can be identified, you can establish that.
Well, that's not true because
that's all that you'd have to do.
That's not true because like cluster concepts or like multidimensional concepts.
I'm not giving a cluster concept.
Wait, I'm not saying that you're. Wait, I'm not saying that you're positing.
How does that affect my view?
I'm not positing that you're saying a cluster concept. I'm giving an example of something that is viewed as a philosophical take, such as a cluster concept. No, you said that my position wasn't true. No, I didn't.
You just said that's not true.
No.
You just said
what I said that's not true is you saying that necessary conditions wouldn't be in science. Are you tracking?
That's also not what I said.
David, he's ignoring the fact that not every
That's not what I said.
Okay, we'll clip this live and go back on what you said.
Let me reiterate what I said. I said that science isn't going to outline the necessary conditions in an exact way, right? Because that's a philosophical question. When you ask a person, what are the necessary conditions for A, you're not going to find a scientific source that does that because science, biology, isn't going to ask philosophical questions like that. Right? So that's what
there's literally a philosophy of science.
What I said. Okay, I just said biology isn't going to do that, and since biological sex is within the realm of biology, it's not going to. Yeah, I'm obviously talking about biological science because the question.
Oh, now you're referencing like
because I was always referencing biological science.
No, you just said science like in a broad statement. You didn't reference like just biological science. What are you talking about?
I thought you'd be smart enough to know I was talking about biology because the question is what are the necessary
conditions. Well, not really when you're saying science and referencing just
I'm pretty sure I'm talking, so I'm just going to finish. I'm just going to finish what I was saying.
Well, you're starting to monologue.
I'm not monologuing.
Yes, you are.
For more than 30 seconds.
What is the point?
So what I was going to say.
So
what I was going to say was when I was referencing science, I think it's obvious we're talking about biology because the question at hand was what are the necessary conditions to belong to a particular sex, that being biology. So maybe you're too.
No. When you make the claim,
you're too slow to get that. But that's
is that like friendly fire towards you? Do you have a mirror in front of your face saying that?
Not every male.
But no, right? When you're like saying science, right, and you're saying that there's
too
like
many
no
people talking all at once. Can one of you fools decide who's going to speak, please?
There's like multiple medical journals that like use cluster concept, which is considered like a philosophical claim in order to define like some type of cluster to categorize humans. So like it doesn't make any sense. I'm not positing they're using that cluster. The point is,
so how does that disprove my claim?
Listen.
So how does that disprove my claim?
Right. So when you say that there's no necessary conditions when you're talking about science, that doesn't make any sense because you said it's a philosophical claim. But when you use things such as cluster concept, which is also considered a philosophical conditions. I understand. That's not the claim I'm positing. You tried it.
Okay. So how does that
disprove?
So how does that disprove what I'm saying?
Well, you notice.
So how does that disprove what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not every.
So it disproves what you're saying, right? Because cluster concept can also be a
give an example of a male
taken into account in biology and in multiple medical journals.
Give an example
to categorize females and males. The same way they have necessary conditions, which is also a philosophical concept that is used in science several times in order to categorize females and males. So that's the point that I'm making. So you're saying, how does that prove the point that I'm trying to make? The point is that there's going to be some philosophical concepts when talking about science.
That doesn't address my claim, so I'm not sure what that does.
Yeah,
anyways,
it did address your claim actually directly.
Yeah, how?
It addressed your claim because you said that there's going to be philosophical things that are not going to be in science, such as
that's not what I said.
Conditions.
That's not what I said.
Wait, it literally is what you said.
What I said was that science in the context. No, what I said.
So now you started adding the context afterwards.
The context was implied because we were talking about biological sex.
Wait, so you didn't say the context, right?
I did. It was implied in the statement. You're just too slow to understand that.
When you make the claim that there's no necessary conditions.
If we're talking about biological sex, obviously when I say there's no necessary conditions, I was talking about biological sex.
No, but you said necessary conditions in science, then you would have said necessary conditions in biology and sex determination.
I was talking about biology. It's obviously
obvious. But that's not what you said. Is that what you said? Yes or no, Edna?
It was implied.
Is that what you said? Yes or no?
No, but it was implied.
Okay, great. So it wasn't what you said.
But it was implied, and you're too slow to understand that.
You simply just couldn't track the fact that
I'm just going to ask a question. 1 second. I'm no longer speaking to you.
Yeah, no,
you know.
I have a question for you. Are there males that exist without the conditions that I gave?
What you said was necessary, then what do you think?
Okay, so then you're saying that there are males that exist without my conditions? That's a positive claim.
Say that. Proof, no, please? I didn't say any of that, bitch.
You just did. If you're saying that there exist males...
bitch.
Yeah, I just asked you if there are...
and what did I say?
Okay, so so if you're saying not every male has what I'm... Can I finish?
That's what I said. I didn't say anything about
Can I finish? 1 second.
Finish
if
what?
You're saying that not... If you're saying that not every male has what I'm saying, what you're saying there is that...
So that's what I said.
What follows from what that... Okay.
I said what I said.
I'll wait for you to stop crashing out. Let me know when you're ready to hear me.
I wish your mother would have crashed with you in her belly.
Are you finished? Okay. So as I was saying,
don't individuals like SRY syndrome have a functional SRY gene?
So I disagree with that claim, but even that they don't. I disagree, but even if I granted you, even if I were to grant you that they have a functioning SRY, it does not then follow from that they meet the conjunction to be male. So even if I were to grant you, which I don't agree with, I had that discussion.
Why do you disagree?
What's the conjunction?
What is the conjunction?
Sorry?
He's trying to make the
Hold on, please. What is your conjunction?
Yeah, so you need a functioning sex-determining region gene of the Y chromosome in conjunction with complete or majoritative androgen receptivity and/or the upregulation of analogous or analogous gene or gene that gives same function. So if I give you a case of
not every male can do that.
Hold on, if I give you a case of
give an example of a male.
If I give you a case of an XX male syndrome with the no SRY gene or the other 23 loci genes,
Sorry, males with who don't have the first part of the conjunct, they meet the second part, which says and/or an upregulation of an analogous gene.
No,
what would be an analogous gene?
Yeah, a gene that plays the same function. So that
what would be those exact genes?
I'm about to tell you. You need to stop talking, sir. So it's SOX9. So upregulation of SOX9 in the 10 to 20% of males who are SRY negative, they would have an upregulation of an analogous gene that leads to the differentiation of testicular development, and then their body responds majoritatively or completely to androgens, thus the person develops male. So that would explain the 10 to 20% of males with De La Chapelle syndrome or XX male syndrome who don't have an SRY gene.
Okay, so hold on. If I give you a case where somebody has XX male syndrome, no SRY gene, and the SOX9 gene couldn't be positively correlated to this XX male development, and then it states in the study,
it would have to show that SOX9 isn't upregulated. Yes.
Hold on, and it states in the study that there's no genetic reason for this person to be XX male syndrome.
There is a genetic reason because it's a genetic condition. So if the study states that, it's incorrect. A study about a congenitally genetic condition.
Well, no, they just couldn't identify why this person developed male.
Okay,
the mother
that means that there's some other gene that plays the same function to the SRY that we're not aware of. But the person still meets the conjunction, so it doesn't matter.
You're just making it unfalsifiable.
Sorry, can you show me the case study and show me where they tested for SOX9 and determine that it was down-regulated or not present?
No, it was present, but it was also present in the mother, and it was the same type of SOX9 gene.
Okay,
and it couldn't be positive. And it couldn't be positive.
SOX9 isn't positive or negative. It's upregulated or downregulated. It's a protein. You don't say positive or negative SOX9. You don't know how genes work. SOX9 is either upregulated or downregulated. Okay, so can I just get the source,
please? Shut your gay ass up.
What are you guys talking about?
Can I get the source? It doesn't matter because I'm not speaking to you.
No, but I want to know what you guys are talking about.
I don't care.
Why can I know?
No one cares about you, Kleinfelter mode.
Because all you're going to do is interrupt and not add anything to the conversation.
Me? I'm not going to interrupt. I just want to know the context.
Either. Nothing but lies and false shit.
You guys are talking about SOX9.
Right, you guys are all crashing out, so I'm just waiting for you.
I'm not even crashing out.
No one's crashing out. You're just wrong.
You guys are all speaking over each other.
Not every male can do what you said.
Okay, so give an example of a male that doesn't do that. Yeah, give an example of a male that doesn't do that.
I don't have to. You have to.
Yeah, you do. You're saying that there are males that exist.
No, I do not.
You're saying that there are males that exist that don't meet my conditions.
If I didn't say that, don't say I said it, bitch.
That's exactly what that's entailed. That's entailed in what you're saying.
No, I don't.
It's entailed. Do you know what an entailment is?
No, I do not. No,
do you know what an entailment? Oh, you don't know what an entailment is?
No, I'm not saying no to that. I'm not saying no to that.
So an entailment, right? An entailment is essentially where something is involved in the view that you're giving. That's what it means for something to be entailed, right?
I know what entailment means.
When you say that there are males that exist out there that don't meet my conditions, you're saying that there are males out there that exist that are male that don't have the condition that I'm referencing.
No, I'm not saying that.
So you're actually, you're making a,
that's not what I said. No, I'm not.
That's entailed.
No, I'm not. So like I said before.
Do you know what an entailment is?
You got to prove to me what you said.
Okay, do you know what an entailment is?
I don't gotta give you
do you know what an entailment is?
I don't got to give you an example of anything.
Do you know what an entailment is?
I don't got to give you an example of anything.
I have an example that proves you wrong.
Yeah, give me the example.
Yeah, sure. Here you go. I'll give it to you right now.
An incoming source that Angel hasn't read but is going to cite anyway because...
Is that like friendly fire?
What he does. Well, that's what Angel...
Wait, by the way, hold on, wait. I'm going to get the source really quickly, but you were, by the way, wrong. Wait. I don't shut up for a second. You were, by the way, wrong about the gonochoric thing because you said it talking about threshold trait. The article specifically defines threshold trait as the sex itself. So you're fucking stupid.
It doesn't say that in the...
It does. No, so when it defines threshold trait, it literally does define what it means by threshold trait.
It doesn't say that in the article.
Anyway, back to the original top. It does. Do you want to see where?
Well, yeah, show me the source on that proves me wrong first, and then we can move back to the gonochoric fish thing. You seem to have an obsession with fish. I
am one. What now?
No, you're a man, but all right. Can I get the source, please? And then it takes 3 to 5 days.
So anyway, what you claim to be necessary conditions aren't necessary.
Okay, so prove they're not necessary then.
No.
Okay, then shut up.
No, you can't prove that they are.
So you don't have any disproof for what I'm saying. So then just
the simple fact is, you lose every time.
You're just wasting my time. You're just wasting my time.
Every time because you
just wasting my
prove
time.
it. Your time.
I have proven it.
No, you have not. No, you have not.
I have proven it. All right. So
you have not.
A duplication upstream of SOX9. Upstream is not upregulation, so I don't know what that means. I don't know how that disproves what's written there. Sorry, Car, what does this prove? Upstream and upregulation are not the same thing. So something can be upstream or downstream to a gene. That's not addressing whether or not it's upregulated or not. So I don't know what this proves.
Oh, it was just saying that stating that the SOX9 gene couldn't be positively correlated with the XX male testicular disorder.
It says a duplication upstream. Do you know what duplication upstream means?
Yeah, the mother showed the same SOX9 gene duplication.
This doesn't prove that it wasn't upregulated.
But no, it shows that the mother and the child showed the same.
Sorry, I don't know. Sorry, how does this disprove my necessary condition?
Yeah. I returned.
No, 1 second. Let Car finish. How does this disprove the necessary condition?
Yeah, so both the mother and the son doesn't have the SRY gene, and they both are showing the same duplication upstream with the SOX9 gene, but one developed female and one developed male.
Sorry, SOX9 being present doesn't mean that it's upregulated. I said you need an upregulated SOX9. So how does this disprove the conditions? This is what my issue with y'all. Y'all like to bring up sources to disprove me, and you didn't even read it.
Oh, I did read it.
Okay, so what's the relevance?
Within the study.
So what's the relevance of that source to my claim? What does that prove?
Are you trying to say that only males can do this?
Sorry, sir, I am not speaking to you. I'm speaking
Here's your source. I have the source.
1 second. So, Car, you can stop talking.
I was literally showing.
Sorry, I don't know what it has to do with my conditions.
Yeah, they were saying.
So while I'm talking, I would like no men to speak. Thank you.
Well, so you're a man, so you probably should shut up.
No, I'm actually not. No, I'm actually not. So it says right here, Swyre's disease, also called pure gonadal dysgenesis, was later related to dysgenic gonads. A deletion in the SRY gene's DNA binding region 2 is percent 10 in 20% of women with Swire syndrome. However, SRY gene is normal in 80 to 90% of cases, and mutations and other testes determining variables are likely to be involved. These patients are phenotypically feminine with phenotypically female genitalia morphology at birth and normal asexual Müllerian structure due to lack of hormonal reproductive capacity. The disorder commonly manifests in adolescents with late puberty, despite high occurrence in irrelevant. Anyway, so it's right here. So the SRY gene in females in some cases in females with Swire syndrome functions normally. You don't know what the fuck it means for an SRY gene to function. You don't know what the function of the SRY gene is.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So I explained that we need to figure out what we need to. Sorry, sir, I'm not speaking to you. So really quickly, Angel, the issue here, Faye, is this young man just going to keep interrupting because he's not adding anything to the discussion?
I am adding.
He just
everything you said was genetic.
Talking about functional, they're just talking about its presence. So you have to clarify what is meant by normal there, right? Now, as I said, even if I were to grant you that the SRY gene is quote unquote functional, I guess we disagree on what it means for the SRY to function, right? But that doesn't mean that they are male. So the contention being brought up, this doesn't defeat my necessary conditions. So even if I grant you that they have a functioning SRY, they don't meet the other part of the conjunction. Do you remember the other part of the conjunction for the necessary conditions?
Yeah, you're incorrect. So no, right here. So it literally says,
sorry, I asked a question and you're not answering. Can I ask
your majority androgens versus sensitivity?
Yeah, complete
right, so hold on, stop. So hold on, so let me ask you a question. Do persons with Swire syndrome have complete or majoritative androgen receptivity to testicular development? No,
it doesn't have to be testicular. Wait, it doesn't have to be. Wait, hold on. Wait. Stop. It doesn't have to be towards testicular development.
Yes, it does because
what do you mean by? Wait, stop. What do you mean by?
Why are you interrupting me?
Okay, go ahead, finish, and then I'll shut the fuck up.
Right. So as I was saying, right, they don't have receptivity, complete or majoritative androgen receptivity to testicular development because when I say that I'm talking about the function of the SRY, when I talk about the SRY carrying out its function, what I'm referring to is the initiation of testes. That's what I'm talking about. This study is using the word normal differently to what I'm doing. So you're not critiquing my view. You're just pulling up a study that uses the word differently to me. When I say the SRY gene when I say the SRY gene functions, what I'm referring to is that testicular development needs to be initiated through the cascade of events that happen through transcription. If that doesn't occur, the SRY has not done its function, under my view. If they're using the word normal differently, that has nothing to do with my view. That's not an internal critique, it's an external one.
No, so it specifically is using sorry, let me repeat what I was saying. It specifically is using the same meaning of normal that you would be using. So I'm going to repeat it. Can you not interrupt me, sir?
What's my meaning of normal?
Yeah, I don't need to tell you shit. I'm telling you right now.
What's my meaning of normal?
Yeah, so shut the fuck up. I'm telling you.
What's my meaning? What's my when I say normal?
Do you have a job? Like I don't know what your meaning is.
You said they're using the same meaning as me.
Edna,
you said they're using the same meaning as me. What's my meaning?
Can you stop being misogynistic and talking over women? I'm speaking.
You said that they're using the same meaning as me. What's the meaning?
Why are you talking over me?
When I say the SRY is functional, what am I referring to?
I'll let you know after.
No, you're going to answer no.
I'll let you know after.
No, you're going to answer no.
It means that they result in having a fucking gap tooth. Yeah, shut the fuck up. It says right here.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, no, that is what you mean by it. That is what you mean by it.
So it says,
however,
Angel, you literally said you weren't going to be acting fucking ratchet.
He keeps to be fair though, he's interrupting me, not letting me talk.
You made a claim and I'm asking you to. You made a claim and I'm holding you to your claim. You said that they're using the same meaning as the meaning that I'm using.
Hold me to my claim.
So answer the question. When I say the SRY gene, when I say the SRY gene carries out its function.
I'm responding. So when you say functioning, you're talking about resulting in testicular development.
Okay, great. So do persons with SWIAs have testicular development?
So I'm reading now. So can I
hold on? Answer my question. Do persons with SWIA syndrome have testicular development?
Yeah, that doesn't. Okay, that's not the
same. Sorry, do persons with SWIA syndrome?
Stop talking.
You're not answering.
Please, I'm
yes or no?
Okay, host.
Yes or no? Do persons with? I'm not interrupting you.
I'm not able to respond. I'm not able to say what I'm trying to say.
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. Okay, people in the chat answer for this young man.
I don't give a fuck about what the fuck white people vote for you.
Do persons with SWIA syndrome have testicular development?
Some of them do. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay, so the answer is no, they don't. So the study
I gave you that one source. I gave you that one source.
So the study, hold on. So the study is not using the word function in the same way that I am. So you lied or you were misunderstood.
I didn't get to explain my claim. I didn't lie, you stupid fuck. I already
addressed your claim. Let me repeat it to you once more since you're having a little bit of mental today.
Can I please talk?
What happened was you said that we already heard your claim. Your claim was that the study.
I didn't get to state my claim. No, we didn't hear my claim. No, because I didn't get to state it. I didn't get to state my claim. So you didn't get to hear my claim.
Referencing the function of the SRY in the same way that I was. That's what you said.
I just turned my phone all the way down, and now I don't hear you anymore.
What I said was that they're not using it in the same way because if it's saying that it is using it in the same way, if it is saying that they are using the function in the same way, right? Then the person would have testicular development because when I'm referencing
variables, that means that it's including the SRY gene as a testy determining variable. So when it says that it is normal in this scenario, it's literally saying that it's.
That's what I'm addressing when I say that.
Are you talking?
Said that, right? You clearly lied when you said that it in the same way that I am. The study is not using it in the same way that I am because the person doesn't have testicular development, right? So persons with SWIAs don't have testicular development. The function of the SRY gene is to initiate the development of testes.
You're interrupting me. You're not letting me respond. Yeah, your voice is ugly. Stop talking. I'm trying to respond.
So if there isn't any testicular development, then
you don't know what the function is.
Then the SRY has not carried out its function.
Okay, so you don't know what the fuck you're. Okay,
not using the SRY gene. I thought your volume was down.
Oh, yeah, okay. I turned it back up because I heard.
Okay, great. So I'm going to finish what I was saying and explain to you why.
And then I'm gonna let you finish, and then I'm
going to explain how you are wrong, right? So yet again, your claim was that the study was using the word function or referencing the function of the SRY gene the same way that I was, right? That's what you said, which is not true because when I say the SRY gene is functioning, it means that testicular development has occurred, right? So testicular development is initiated. Persons with SWIA syndrome don't have testicular development. Therefore, if they're saying that the gene is functioning normally and there isn't any testicular development, then they're using...
Where's the source for that?
Then they're using...
David, I want to respond to this.
Then they're using the meaning of the function of the SRY gene differently. right? So yet again, you lied and you mischaracterized my view.
Nobody
and the study,
lied.
you did by stating that they were using the function of the SRY gene analogously. Right? They weren't using it the same way that I was. Now, what I want to ask you to do...
Are you done? Can I talk now, please? Can I respond? Can I actually state what I was trying to say now?
No, I'm not, because I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah, I'm going to ask you now to repeat what I said.
I'm not going to do that because I'm going to...
I'm going to keep talking.
Can I get where's the source for that? Like, hello?
To keep talking.
Wait, he doesn't have a source. He pulls it out of his ass.
Any sources at all.
Wait,
we don't have any sources.
Is there a source that's... Okay, so where's the source?
So I'm actually explaining to you why you're still incorrect. So after your whole so after your whole monologue, you're still incorrect, and I'm still waiting to explain to you how, but I'm unable to because you're still fucking talking.
Yeah, go ahead and explain, sir.
Okay, so yeah, I'd like 1 minute of silence. It won't take a minute. I just want a minute of silence from you particularly, so just like don't talk for a minute. So it says,
Sissy.
However, the SRY gene is normal in 80-90% of cases, and mutations in other testes-determined variables are likely to be involved. So when it says in other testes-determining variables, that is literally meaning that it is including the SRY gene in as being a testes-determining variable, which means that it is serving the same function as what you have viewed as being a testes-determining variable. It's doing it in slightly different ways because you sort of implicitly state it like this is kind of just like groups it in with it. You just like say the full thing. You state like the function of the gene is something different than it actually is, which you don't know what the function of the SRY gene is. But when it specifically says and in other means other, like as in relating to this and that, it's saying that the SRY gene is a testes determining variable, right? So a functioning SRY gene would, in this case, result in a functioning SRY gene would cause the sex determining region gene protein to enact the genes that cause testes development. That would not be what you said it was. But either way, which again we have a disagreement of what it means for the SRY gene to be functioning, which yours is incorrect. It literally does use it in the same way you use it because it says it includes and other testes determining variables. That means it includes it as being a testes determining variable.
That didn't make any sense because yet again, if the way I'm using the word function for the SRY means that testes are initiated and women with SRYs don't have testicular development initiated, then clearly they're using it differently. Now, as I was saying, right?
When do testes initiation happen?
Even if I need to, can you stop interrupting, please? Right. So, just to clarify as well, I said to you, even if I were to grant you, this doesn't prove that women with SRYs meet my conditions. So I don't see how this works.
So, Edna, would you like me to give you a source? Oh, wait, so I have a question first. What do you define as being testicular development?
It just means that you need to have initiation of the testicles. Like it's just not that hard to understand.
I can give you a source saying that SRY syndrome women have. That'd be fun if I give you a source saying trans women have.
They have testicular initiation.
Syndrome, yeah, that they do. Yeah.
Yeah, show me.
The simple fact that you're arguing. Your whole shit is
sorry, sir. I'm not interested in anything you have to say. You haven't proven your claim.
So so shut your bitch ass
up. Angel,
the fact that you're arguing with genotype, your necessary and sufficient conditions are genotype, and you're arguing phenotype. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, what does genotype cause?
Wait, genotype doesn't necessarily cause. Genotype doesn't necessarily
what phenotype is.
No, phenotype is the interaction between environment and
dumbass. What initiates testicles?
Hold on,
is it only the like structure?
That's the end of it right there.
Really quickly, can you have some moderation here? Because 3 people are over speaking me at the same time, and I can't.
You function like 8 fucking people, so.
Yeah. So can you moderate?
Let David ask the question really fast. David had a question.
Yeah, because I'm not doing this if a bunch of gender confused people are going to be screaming over me the entire time.
I'm the main one.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but anyway, so you like made a claim that you consider SRYG mean initiation of testicles, and individuals with SRY syndrome aren't going to have any testicles. Therefore, it means that the SRY gene was non-functional. Like, and I asked you what's going to be like the source for this. Do you have like a source for that?
I can tell you what the function of the gene. I can tell you what the function of the gene is, and if the testicles don't function, then the SRY. I want a
source. That's what I asked.
I can tell you what I don't give you a source for SRY gene
You're
function.
You're not going to get a source, sweetheart.
I want a source for the claim that you just made. You said that you don't consider an SRY gene being functional unless there's the structural or testes develop under SRY syndrome. So if it is the case, where you have an individual that has SRY syndrome, and since they don't have testes, you're saying testes were not initiated. So what do you mean when the testes weren't initiated?
Because you can just look at the role of the SRY. The role of the SRY is to act as a master switch for male sexual development, which triggers the development of testes. That's the function of the SRY. You can go to you can go to the National Institute of Health. Let's look up the role of the SRY in mammalian sex determination, and it tells you what it does. Okay.
Yeah, but
so yet again, it is supposed to. Sorry, I'm not done speaking because I'm going to read the source to you since you're too slow to understand. Okay. So you can go to. Sorry, I'm speaking. So you can go to the role of the SRY in mammalian sex development, and then I'm going to read it to you verbatim. Okay? It says the SRY gene, sex-determining region gene of the Y chromosome located at the distal region of the short arm of the Y chromosome is necessary.
Hello?
Sorry, got a phone call. Is necessary for male sex determination in mammals. The SRY, let me just put it on screen since you want me. Look at the big screen, please.
By the way, David,
please.
His whole shit is.
Sorry, excuse me. See how the word necessary is there? Okay. So yet again, role of the SRY in mammalian sex determination. It's necessary for male sex determination. So
that's not the point.
That's not what. Contention. That's what you asked me for.
No, it's not. Yeah, so no, it's not. Let me explain. I'm talking. Thank you. Right. So you made a claim. You're saying that the SRY gene, right, in individuals with SRY syndrome is not going to be functional, right? And the reason that it's not going to be functional is because there's no initiation of development of the testes, right? But you just within your own source agreed that it's going to work as some type of switch that then turns on the process for testicular development, right? If it is the case that it is the switch that turns on the process for it, it means that there's other mutated genes that are going to be causing the non-process of like testicular development. So for example, you can have genes like I'm assuming like the MAP3K1, right? So
what does MAPK3-1 have to do with testicular differentiation?
Yeah, so me bringing up MAP3K1 is going to be basically just saying that the MAP3K1 is going to be the signaling in which if there's higher signaling in someone, it's going to prevent testes development.
Yeah, can I get a source?
Yep, I'll give you a source, Medline Plus, right here. Give me a source.
Medline Plus, okay.
Yep.
What's the source?
By the way, I have your source.
I'm gonna get it right now. I'm turning my camera on for you.
While David does that, I love him by the way. It says I have a source right here saying that testicular development was initiated.
Let me see.
Yeah. So this is regarding two patients. One of them had CAS, the other one had SRY syndrome. I'm going to read it to you. It said both cases underwent prolapic gonadectomy due to elevated risk of gonadal malgenecy. Bilateral gonadal stroma and dysarthromelanoma were diagnosed on one side, while Leydig cell hyperplasia and only sternal cells were diagnosed in samular. Okay, I can't pronounce the word. Tubules on both sides.
Where does it say the person had testes?
So they had Leydig. Do you know what Leydig cells are?
Yeah, Leydig cells are not testicles. Testicular.
So that would mean that the SRY gene did perform this function and started.
No, you said no. That wasn't the claim. No,
I literally was the claim.
No, the claim was that they had testes. No, you said
that wasn't. So do you remember?
Okay, so you lied. You lied again.
I didn't lie. Nobody gives a fuck about you to lie to you.
I don't know why you're screaming over me because I was speaking.
Why the fuck do you think people care enough to fucking lie?
You said that they. No, you just said they had testicular differentiation.
No, I'm speaking.
Look, Medline Plus,
Edna, can I get
right here, we go to causes.
Wait, after
right here it says the variants in the MAP3K1 gene that cause SRY syndrome decrease signaling that leads to male typical sex development and increased signaling that leads to female typical sex development. These changes in signaling prevents the development of testes and allows the development of female reproductive structures.
Okay, right, and the function of the SRY is to produce a protein. I'm not finished. It's to produce a protein that signals these genes to carry out their function.
Yeah, so but once again, that didn't answer the question.
I'm not done speaking. I'm not done speaking.
Because you're not answering the question.
So if the protein, I'm talking. So if the protein doesn't carry out its function, right? If the protein doesn't carry out its function, those genes cannot be signaled accurately.
Is the SRY protein and the SRY the same thing?
No, the SRY gene's function is to produce.
What's going to be the protein? What's going to be the function of the SRY gene? Is it going to be the switch to initiate it? Yes or no?
Are you going to let me finish?
Yes or no?
So the function of the SRY is to produce a protein that then interacts with other genes. I'm not done
going to be a switch that initiates
let me know when you're done. Let me know when I can.
I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. Sure.
Edna, can you please put the PMID to your source in the chat?
I already asked you. So I asked you two different questions, right? So I asked you, first question was, if you're going to make the claim that the SRY gene is not going to be the initiator of testicular development because there's no testes in someone that's Swyer syndrome, I asked you to give me a case for that, or give me a study for that, or show some type of proof for that, and some type of edu.gov, something that proves your claim, and you couldn't give me that.
I did, because I just read a source to you that says that the SRY is necessary for male development. I just read you a source.
So the second so no, that
wasn't.
I just read you a source.
Yeah,
I did. The PMID is 8840551.
Did your source say that it initiates? Did your source say that unless testes are development, does that mean that it wasn't initiated?
It says that, that's what it means by necessary.
No, it didn't. Nope, it didn't.
That's what necessary means.
Yeah, so the answer to the question that I just asked you is no.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
And then the second way, no, because I wasn't done. Hey, I wasn't done. So the second question, no.
You can't ask two questions at the same time. We're going to address your questions one at a time.
Yeah, you haven't addressed the first one since the beginning.
That's what I'm doing.
At least you know you didn't address it, right?
So you need to stop.
So can you show me the proof?
I'm addressing how it's entailed in the statement. Let me explain it to you, okay? So I'm going to give you an analogy. If I say to you that what's necessary for a car to turn on is that the keys are turned in the ignition, right? If the car isn't on...
It just means that it must have to be there.
Right, all right. So then, okay, so if the car isn't on, does it mean that the keys were not turned?
No.
Okay, is there a case where the car can be on? Is there a case where the car cannot be on without the keys being turned on? If the turning the keys are necessary?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, but then
if you hotwire a car, right, and you turn it on.
No, I'm giving you a scenario where the only way to turn on a car is to turn the key. Okay, so let's say that we live in a world where the only way. Sorry, it's a hypothetical. It's a hypothetical. It's a hypothetical.
You're presupposing a conclusion in a hypothetical.
It's not. No.
Yes, you're already saying the necessary. We are already saying what is necessary in order for this car to turn on is just turning on this key, right? So like you're excluding like individual, like for example, if we hotwire a car or like any other possible outcomes that can be held. And the way that this would be disanalogous when talking about the SRY gene and multiple other genes, right, is because in the case of SRY gene, if I say that, for example, let's give you an actual analogy that actually relates to what we're talking about. If we have a light switch, for example, and there's like electrical current that comes out the light switch, for example, these are going to be the protein that it develops. But let's say it has faulty wires. These are going to be the downstream genes referencing, let's say, the MAP3K1, the DHAs, the NR5A1. These are all going to be genes that are going to be referenced in the downstream genes. So we have a faulty wire. So one of the genes are mutated and doesn't allow. For example, the MAP3K1, where I just showed you, it may cause the signaling, may cause the prevention of testes development, right? So, and then the light bulb turning on would be the testes actually showing up, turning on. So the function of the light switch would be referencing the SRY gene, and the protein would be the electrical current, right? And the faulty wire would be the downstream genes, right? So the function of the light switch, which is the SRY gene, has been sufficed. Just the outcome has not been sufficed. You're conflating function and outcome and saying that it equals the same thing.
Yeah, so the function is supposed to ensure a particular outcome. That's what you're missing, right? So the function of the SRY is to produce a protein that interacts with other genes, thus resulting in testicular development.
That's so is function and outcome the same thing?
Can I please finish? Yes, the function needs to ensure...
Wait, function and outcome is the same thing?
I'm saying to you that in order for it to, in this case, in order for it to be considered functional, it needs to carry out or needs to complete
so only in this
particular case? Can you allow me to finish? It needs to cause a particular case? It needs to cause a particular outcome, right? So the function of the function entails that it causes testicular development. That's the function, to cause testicular development by producing a protein that interacts with other genes, thus resulting in male testicular differentiation. And there isn't a light switch, right? If the role of the light switch is to turn on the wiring, right? It's supposed to turn on the bulb by signaling the light switches to, or the technical currents to do their job. If you flip the light switch on and nothing comes on because of the current or the fixtures or the wiring isn't working, then the light switch has not done its function. It's supposed to ensure that the light bulb turns on, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. So it actually proves what I'm saying. So the light switch analogy, if the wiring is faulty and the job of the light switch is to flip up such that the bulb is turned on and the bulb doesn't come on because of the wiring is faulty, then the light switch has not done its job. That's what I'm saying with the SRY. You guys are separating the function from the outcome. I'm not doing that. I'm saying in this case, when I reference, I'm speaking. I'm saying in this case, when I reference,
and you're still wrong.
well, David
and
got
you're still
the
lying
monologue.
as well as us.
I didn't get to monologue. Actually, I cut you off to ask a question.
It's very clear that you were
Wait, I want to respond to this.
It's very clear that you were
just not
question begging. That's it.
Yeah,
my source.
I just want to.
The excess smell syndrome.
I just want to respond to this because once again, you have yet to give me a source that entails the claim that you made, right? Or like proves. Substantiates the claim that you
gave you a source
that you gave. Wait, stop talking. Right, the source that you gave doesn't substantiate the claim that you made.
It does.
Right. With that being said, also you made a critique on the analogy that I gave you. Right. So within the analogy that I gave you about the light switch being the turn on, right? You even agreed that the SRY gene on the Y chromosome essentially is just going to be a switch that turns on the process of testicular development. Right. So let's say the light switch is going to be the SRY, which I've already told you. Right. Within the analogy, if you didn't hear it, that's not my problem. I can repeat it for you. Right. So the light switch is going to be the SRY gene. Right. You've already agreed it's just going to be a switch that essentially turns on the processes of testicular development. So let's think of the
causing testicular development. No, you're omitting context. If I'm interrupting. No, don't shush me. You're omitting context.
Is it necessary for it to function? Are you stupid?
You're omitting that.
You notice how Edna is trying to interrupt when I'm trying to clarify the analogy, right? So once again, if you turn on the switch, right, and it causes electrical current, which would be the production of the SRY protein. With that being said, and then you have a faulty wire, which it literally says within the source. I got a source for you as well for this, right? That in many individuals with Swyer syndrome, the cause is unknown, right? And the causes that we do know, right, the information that we do have is due to the mutation of other genes such as the MAP3K1 gene. So that's why I use faulty wires, which would be in reference or analogous to the MAP3K1 gene or any of the mutated genes that I'm referencing. So when we're talking about, like, let's say an electrical current that doesn't have any reception from the faulty wires, is going to be a reference. The simple question that I'm going to ask you, right, if you believe that it's going to be disanalogous, is going to be if it was the case that we do have a light switch referencing the SRY gene and we do have faulty wires and a non-functional light bulb because it doesn't turn on due to the light switch turn on, what do we switch out? Do we switch out the faulty wire or do we switch out the light switch? Because which one is not working?
Pardon?
Can you stop muting him?
Yeah.
Which one do we switch out?
Both.
Both? Okay, so the light switch is putting out electrical current. Why are we switching out the light switch?
It's not putting out electrical current.
Yes, it is.
No,
I just told you the light switch. Wait, so does the SRY gene produce a protein? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so what is going to be the electrical current? Is it going to be the protein or no?
In the analogy?
Yep.
Yes.
Ladies, check out the
PMIDs. Oh, thank you. So you just conceded.
Conceded what?
Yeah, you just conceded because you said that the is not producing.
What's the PMID
not producing electrical current.
Hold on. If it produces the protein and the protein doesn't, hold on. If the protein doesn't interact with the genes in such a way that it
so the electrical current isn't.
You're interrupting me now.
Because
you're interrupting me now.
I am interrupting.
I'm not done. So I'm going to finish. Right. So if the protein doesn't interact with the genes in such a way that testicular development is initiated, then it has not. The SRY gene has not produced the protein in such a way that results in a functioning SRY.
Right, in such a way, right? So once again, right, you've already said that that the light switch wasn't working because it doesn't produce electrical current. But I already told you that electrical current is going to be analogous to the protein that is developing, in which you didn't concede and said, well, yes, then the electrical current would be analogous to the protein that is creating. So you do actually agree that it's creating a protein.
It's okay.
Stop talking.
It needs to create the protein and then result in testicular differentiation.
Stop talking.
It's supposed to result in testicular differentiation.
I literally let you talk, so let me talk, right? So when we're talking about the faulty wire, right? And I asked you a simple question: which one do we swap out, right? Since you agree now, right? We've already agreed that the light switch is going to be working and it's going to be pushing out electrical current. I don't think the light switch is working. So which one do we pull out? The faulty wire that's now
supposed to.
Wait. So, okay, once again, what's broken?
I'm going to answer you.
Wait, what's broken with the light switch?
You're repeating the question.
What's broken with the light switch?
Another time. Yeah, it's not. No, sorry. I'm saying that the function of the light switch is the function of the light switch.
What's broken with the light switch?
Stop. If the function of the.
You want to answer?
I'm going to answer, but you keep interrupting.
So answer.
The function of the light switch is to turn on the bulb.
No, it's
by
not.
creating electrical current that interacts with the by creating I'm not finished by creating electrical current that interacts with the wiring inside the light switch, thus leading to the bulb
what's the
turning
distinction
on.
Between outcome
So
and
if
function?
I'm not done. So if the light switch, if the what's it called? If the wiring isn't working, then the switch cannot do its job to turn on the light switch by sending electrical current to initiate the light bulb turning on. That's the issue.
Yeah. So if I swapped out the faulty wire, would the light bulb turn on? Yes or no?
If you swapped out the faulty wire, then yes. So it allows for the process to be complete.
Great. So that means that the downstream genes that are
I'm not done. I wasn't finished answering.
I wasn't finished answering.
That wasn't an answer. I'm going to give full context to my answer. Please allow me to do so. I'm going to give full context. I'm going to give full context
that wasn't
to my
an answer to my question. Wait, you answered it already.
I'm going to add context.
The question was, wait, repeat the question, Edna.
Allow me to finish. No, I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish.
Edna, repeat back to me the question.
At that point, if you change the faulty wiring, then at that point, the light bulb, the light switch would be able to carry out its function at that point. So at that point,
repeat back the question.
If that were the case, then that would be the case.
What was the question that I just asked you?
If you were to remove the faulty wiring, then at that point the light switch would be able to carry out its function.
And the answer was that. What was the answer to that? Yes or no?
The answer to what? What's the question again?
You just repeated it.
Right. So then I've answered. So the answer is.
Was it yes or no?
The answer is yes. If you removed if you remove the wiring,
faulty wire, which is going to be in reference. All right, it's my turn to talk. So if you already gave the context earlier, so I don't need you to repeat the context again. Right. With that being said, right, if you say that everybody, all right, so listen.
I wasn't finished.
Stop talking.
You're just interrupting.
Stop talking.
Just say it, David. Just say it.
Yeah, great. So if it is the case, right, that the light switch is going to be the SRY gene in which the process is just turning on the switch in order to initiate the testicular development, right, or the processes for the testicular development, which is called downstream genes, which is going to be analogous with my analogy because there's going to be the faulty wire, which is going to be the, let's say, the mutated genes in certain cases of Swyer syndrome that within my own source, which literally says the causes of some individual with Swyer syndrome is unknown and it may be due to mutations in other genes such as the MAP3K1, right? So that is going to be analogous. He says that if we remove the faulty wire, so let's hypothetically add this like to biology. Let's say, so we fix the MAP3K1 and say there was no mutation on the MAP3K1, then essentially it means that the processes and the function, right, of the testicles development would have happened. Therefore, the function of the MAP3K1 gene would be what's not fulfilling its function, or because it's a mutated gene that's not properly fulfilling its function. If we're talking about the SRY gene, which is the light switch that you turn on, it would be fulfilling this function. If you already conceded to that point because you agree, right, that there's going to be the light switch and the current, which the current is going to be the protein that initiates the processes, right? And the processes are going to be analogous to, like, let's say the faulty wire and the downstream genes. Therefore, you've already conceded a point that the SRY gene has completed its function, which is just simply turning on the switch, which the switch does happen, which you agree.
That's not the statement.
So it turns on the switch. Stop talking. So it turns on the switch, right? And it starts the electrical current.
You see how you all complain about monologuing.
You monologued like 3 times.
Yeah, but when I did it, you complained. I just want to clarify. So, are you finished now?
Yeah. Would that be an admission of you saying that I only monologue once compared to you monologuing 4 times?
I don't have an issue monologuing in response to your monologue.
Great. Amazing. So, let me continue finishing then before you interrupt me, if you don't have an issue with monologuing. Thank you. Right? So, we're talking about the light switch, right? And you've already agreed that this is going to be the SRY gene and it's going to be analogous to this, and you already agreed that the electrical current is going to be the protein it creates, then the SRY gene has successfully done its function of creating the protein. If it was a non-functional SRY gene, it wouldn't have created its protein. So I'm just going to ask you this. I'm just going to ask you a question. Is there a case where there's an SRY gene where it doesn't create the SRY gene protein?
Okay, I'm going to respond to what you said. Nope, not going to answer your question today.
Answer the question. No, you're dodging. Stop answering.
No, I'm going to respond to what you said and
answer the question. Why are you dodging?
I'm going to respond. You monologued for 2 minutes. I'm going to respond to what you said.
And you monologued 4 times for like about 3 minutes.
I'm going to respond to what you said.
So can you respond to the question? Answer the question.
I'm going to respond to what you said and then I'm going to answer.
Answer the question, please.
As I was saying,
I asked you a question. Why are you dodging?
The SRY gene is concerned,
this is like a W dodge, by the way.
You're oversimplifying and you're not addressing. You're actually strawmanning the position. My position is not that the SRY gene
is your position not that the SRY gene is not functional because because the outcome of the testes development didn't happen? Yes or no?
Sorry,
is that your position? Yes or no?
That is the position, but that's
great.
not what
So
you
I didn't
addressed.
strawman your position.
You didn't address, but that's not. You didn't address that by what you said. So what you said
I did address your position.
You see how you're
you just agreed that I addressed your
constantly, and you were talking for
because
about
you're
2
not
minutes.
answering my question.
Because you responded with a monologue, I'm going to respond to what you said, and then I'm going to answer your question. Right. So as I was saying, right, you're oversimplifying the position, and you're not even listening. Your critique a while ago doesn't address the way that I'm using the word function for the SRY. Right. What you're doing is you're just saying that the function of the SRY is just to switch on the process. I'm saying no, the SRY gene needs to switch on the process in such a way that the process initiates testicular differentiation. That's what I'm saying. You're not getting that. So you can't compare it in the way that you did as far as the light switch is concerned, because the light switch, you're saying the light switch is just supposed to flip the switch, and if the wires on the inside don't work, then it has still carried out its function. I disagree, right? If the light bulb's function is to turn, the light switch's function, is to turn on a bulb. If the wiring is faulty, then the switch can't carry out its function. So I'm not going to separate the faulty wiring from the switch. The switch is supposed to turn the light bulb on, right? By sending electrical current through those wirings. If the wiring is faulty, then the switch hasn't carried out its function. The same thing applies to the SRY gene. If the SRY gene is supposed to cause initiation of testicular differentiation by producing a protein that interacts with other genes, and those genes are faulty, then the SRY has not carried out its function. So yet again, this is just a disagreement on how the word function is being used. The medical literature, in certain instances, it is, and yet again, I haven't conceded anything. You're just using it differently. You're applying an analogy that doesn't actually address my position. My position isn't that it's just supposed to do the switch. No, it's supposed to initiate testicular development by producing the protein that then interacts with those genes. If those genes are faulty, the SRY hasn't done its job. The SRY gene is supposed to ensure a particular outcome. That's the function. Okay? So, yet again, I don't know how this disproves the condition. I don't have to, because your question...
Wait, so you're not answering the question?
Your question presupposes
Wait,
your
what was
view.
My question?
Your question presupposes your view, which I'm not agreeing with. I'm not committed to answering the question.
No, you said you were going to answer the question after you addressed... No, why are you dodging the question?
You're asking
you're dodging the question.
You're asking if the SRY produces the protein every single time? Is that what's the question?
No.
What was the question then?
I said it is the case that the SRY gene produces a protein in individuals Swyer syndrome.
It doesn't. It produces the protein, yes, but the protein doesn't cause testicular differentiation.
And you agree? Wait, okay, great. So what causes testicular differentiation is going to be based on other genes, yes or no?
The genes regulated by the protein, yes.
Okay, great. So if the SRY gene produces its protein, it has the function of this light switch, which is the analogy, which is going to be analogous to the, by the way, it's going to be analogous to the SRY gene, right? So that's why I asked you a simple question.
I disagree.
Wait, can you stop interrupting?
I disagree.
I disagree. And let you monologue.
No, you actually interrupted me quite a lot, so it's my turn now. So actually,
I'll let you get it out. I know
you keep addressing the switch and saying the switch needs to ensure a particular outcome. That's what the function needs to do.
Okay,
so
there you go. You're done interrupting. It's my turn. Let me go. You're done interrupting. It's my turn.
Your analogy keeps mischaracterizing the view.
No, it's not. It's completely
yes, it is, because you keep just addressing it as the switch.
No,
I don't really understand how you're not getting this.
Wait, okay, let me sure, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna say a statement. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the statement. The SRY gene on the Y chromosome essentially is a switch that turns on the process of testicular development. Do you agree or disagree?
That's oversimplified. No, needs more context.
No, you disagree with that. So the SRY gene is not.
I'm saying it requires.
No, stop talking. So stop talking.
It requires
stop
more.
Stop talking. Why do you talk when I talk?
Oh my! Because
I'm trying to talking when I talk. So stop talking.
You ask oversimplify.
So this is not an oversimplification, right? This is going to be directly talking about the function of the SRY gene, which, by the way, you have already agreed to earlier. And no, you already agreed. This is like a crazy blunder off your end, right? Because you already agreed earlier that the SRY gene is going to be just a switch that initiates the process of testicular development. I literally said this and asked you this earlier, and you agreed to it, but now you're disagreeing to it. Now you're disagreeing. Now you're disagreeing to it. Stop talking. Wait, stop talking. Why are you trying to steamroll? Okay, great. Stop talking. Why are you trying to stop talking? Wait, y'all notice how Edna is continuously interrupting? Hello?
You did it to me.
Yeah, wait, I did it to you, and I counted you, and I let you interrupt. I literally said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let you interrupt me, so you can let me talk. Great. So great. I've asked you this. Wait, I asked you this question earlier. I simply asked you: is the SRY gene on the Y chromosome essentially is a switch that turns on the process of testicular development? Earlier, you agreed to it. Matter of fact, you agreed to it not once but 2 times, over and over again. And now that we're talking about the third time, right? Now that we brought up the analogy of the light switch, you're saying you're conveniently saying that no, you don't agree with it because of oversimplification of what it is, or rather, it seems like it just you've realized that you dug yourself into a hole that you can't get out of, right? Because you've already conceded and you've already agreed with me that it's just going to be a switch earlier. Now you're saying, well, no, it's not going to be that because it's an oversimplification. It seems like you're switching your position around based off the analogy that I gave you of the light switch because it's completely analogous to your position. Because your position, once again, was that in individuals with Swyer syndrome, the SRY gene, which by the way would be non-functional because there's no testicles in individuals with Swyer syndrome, right? But we've already agreed, by the way, that the SRY gene is just going to be a switch that turns on the processes of testicular development. So the function of the SRY gene would be turning on that process, which you've already conceded to and agreed to. You've already lost. Like you've already conceded that point, like 3 times already within this debate.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have. Unfortunately, you have.
No, I can explain how.
I have a question, by the way.
Everybody in this panel can attest that this person has literally conceded that the SRY gene is going to be what initiates, right? It's going to be the switch that initiates testicular development.
Address the full. I'm not answering
what do you mean when you say majority and versatility? What does majority mean?
I'm not addressing your question. I'm going to finish responding to.
You've already lost. You've already agreed. You're just monologuing now.
I haven't because yet again.
Let me show a source as well.
It's only a part of what it does. Okay, it does start the processes, but the processes are supposed to ensure testicular differentiation. That's what I said. Okay, so you're not addressing the entirety of it. You're oversimplifying it by omitting a particular part of what is being said.
Wait, where's the source that says that they're supposed to initiate testicular development?
I just read it to you from
the Mayo Clinic.
I'm going to read. Not the Mayo Clinic. Sorry, Faye, I'm being dogpiled. If I'm overspoken like anybody else on this panel,
literally no one cares. It didn't say.
For everybody know, XY perigonatus genesis is also.
Wait, let Dana talk.
So right here is like the source right here. If you want to go look at it, it's gonna be right here. Let me actually scroll up and show you where the source is from.
No, yeah, that's it fast.
It comes from National Library of Medicine. It's gonna be a specific right here, and then you can go look at that if you want. Let me scroll down.
Can I finish talking now? Because I'm not being allowed.
So right here, so it says the SRY. This is literally the statement that I asked him, and he said no, he disagrees. By the way, this is gonna be like based off of medical journal.
I said that.
So the SRY gene on the Y chromosome essentially is a switch that turns on the processes of testicular development.
I was responding to David.
Right. So
I was responding to David.
He says that he disagrees with it, but earlier he agreed with it. Edna, what's going on?
You were doing that to me the whole fucking time.
Can I please finish? Can I please?
No, Fassi.
You were literally doing that to me the whole fucking time.
I'd like to finish responding to David, please, because this is all a bunch of mischaracterization, and all you're doing is straw manning and mischaracterizing.
Wait, okay, so is the statement that the SRY gene on the Y chromosome essentially is a switch that turns on the process of testicular development? Period. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
Yeah, by itself wrong. Yes, it requires further clarification.
Okay, so is the clarification? It requires
further clarification. No, you're still interrupting me. I'm going to give you the clarification.
Gonna be?
No, you're interrupting me again. No, I'm going to finish. No. I'm going to finish talking. No, I'm not going to. So anyways, right, it's supposed to cause the development. Right. It's supposed to cause the development of testicular differentiation, right, or start the process in such a way that the function is achieved.
Okay, so critique the source if it's wrong.
So the
critique the source if it's wrong. Critique the source if it's wrong.
I just read it. So
critique the source if it's wrong. Go to the source. I'll give you the source. Critique the source if it's wrong.
If I'm muted again, I'm going to leave. If I'm muted again, I'm going to leave because I'm being overspoken.
Wait, Edna, I need you to wait. No, one, you wait, and you haven't given me. Wait, Edna, I substantiated my claim with the source.
If I'm muted or overspoken,
Edna, I've substantiated my claim with the source. You have yet to substantiate your claim with the source, right? So the source that you showed is just saying that it's going to be necessary, but it's not really telling me that it's going to be that's going to be the functional.
WTIAs.
Alrighty, so Edna unfortunately has lost to David.
You did lose. David,
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So I'm gonna turn on the comments.
Rub your ass because I know it's sore.
Alrighty.
Okay, Clint, that's enough.
W David's in the chat. I won't.
David.
W David.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Scalp that bitch.
Thank you for the gifts, by the way, everybody.
So unfortunate. One second. Unfortunately, Edna has conceded because he was unable to answer most of David's questions, and a pivot is
Did y'all get this on YouTube?
and as well as prettiest. So we can all agree that in basic fucking debate forum, that pivoting from a question that has been asked directly to you is essentially a concession. Everyone on this panel has indeed answered every one of Edna's questions. So if you guys want to say that I'm a fucking biased panel, you can say that I'm a fucking biased panel. I don't really care. You can suck my non-metaphorical dick, by the way.
Right.
And yeah, so David. David, you can put that shit in the fucking books. We're going to put it in the trophy fucking room.
No, I just want to point out, like, I just want to point out, like, I hope that I hope someone is like clipping this, because I literally, like, I asked him the same exact statement that he disagreed with now, right after I gave him the analogy of the light switch. I asked him that at the beginning of our discussion, or like literally near the beginning of our discussion, and he agreed to it like several times. I said the statement several times, right? And then he now disagreed with it once I made it analogous to the genes, to the upstream and downstream genes, and then he disagreed with it. So I don't understand how, like, that was just literally him just like we literally just watched him live switch his position in front of everybody. So if anybody clipped that where I literally repeated the same thing, and even within his own source that Edna gave, it literally says that it's going to act as a switch that then is necessary for testicular development. And that's the mischaracterization that he's giving. It is necessary for testicular development, but you have to turn on the switch. The function of the switch is what's necessary, but it doesn't mean that it's necessary. That's going to be like the only functioning. It's not going to be like the outcome, which is the testicular development, is not going to be necessarily equal to the function of just turning on the light switch or just turning on the switch of the SRY gene, which is literally what the SRY gene does. It's just a switch that you turn on.
For everyone saying W, Edna, in the comments, you guys are like, you have your head so far up Edna's ass that you cannot come back to reality, which is really fucking unfortunate. If you guys knew basic debate culture and weren't busy, giving the whole hanky-panky to Edna, then you would understand that David has answered every single one of Edna's questions. And Edna has refused and actually pivoted and diverted from answering any one of David's questions, as well as providing a source for any of his claims. You provided one
that's
for one.
I literally asked him. I literally asked Edna. By the way, the first question that I asked him, which literally was simply to show me that SRY gene and Swire syndrome, right? To show to me that is non-functional due to the fact that there's no testicles present, and he couldn't give me that. All that he showed me was a source, by the way, that he conveniently put his camera extremely close up just to the word necessary and show nothing else of the source, by the way, which literally is just referencing, right, that it's necessary, right? So yes, the SRY gene is necessary for testicular development. That's not what the question was. The question is testicles being actually present, like the structure of testicles being present means that the SRY gene is functional, which is not true, because the SRY gene just creates a SRY gene protein, which then interacts with other genes, right? It's a processes, right? The process of the function, but the function of the SRY by itself is just turning on the process, which is literally what it does. Without the SRY gene creating that protein, the process would never happen. So it just turns on. The function is done.
By the way, also we showed him several sources literally defining the function of the SRY gene that specifically lists the result in a male development as being secondary to the function of the SRY gene. We showed him a fucking million of them, and I kept asking him over and over, can you give me a source? And the only one he has is a fucking Mayo Clinic. That's some fucking oversimplification of what the fuck it actually means. It's on a .gov or .edu source. That's an oversimplification. That's not what the fuck it actually means. We showed him several sources that fucking fucking explicitly state the functions, state the result of the developing a male phenotype as being separate. By the way, him saying that it would be so of having the SRY gene that is functional, and then him saying how we know it's functional is if it functions. That's fucking circular. You can't say that the way we know if the SRY gene is functional is if it functions. That doesn't make fucking sense.
He's actively lying.
He's saying that the function of the SRY gene is to cause testicular development, and the only way we can know if the SRY gene is functional is if there's testicular development.
He knows he's lying. The issue is that what David said.
What the fuck?
What David said is correct. A necessary condition just means that it must be present. Doesn't mean it guarantees the outcome that is in question, right? So him saying or giving the source that's saying it's necessary doesn't guarantee anything. So that wasn't saying that it was enough to produce the outcome. So he's just conflating things and then claiming that you're mischaracterizing his view when that's not the case.
That's why I literally repeated back his view to him, and he was like, well, yeah, actually that is my view. So like, I don't know how I'm mischaracterizing your view if I just showed you that I have a coherent understanding of what your view is.
So I have a quick question. Am I wrong or am I right when I say that there's people who have developed testicular balls, right, without the SRY gene?
Yes.
Yeah, his argument is up to an analogous or homologous gene.
Hold on, and my source proves that the SOX9 gene couldn't have done the testicular development because the mother showed the same SOX9 duplication gene at the same exact duplication rate.
8 million fucking PMIDs in the chat, and it's like he just refused to engage with any of it.
I just want to let everybody know Edna showed one source, and the one source that he showed was a zoomed in on necessary rather than showing the entire source, while I literally showed like 4 different fucking sources.
Yeah, from Mayo Clinic. From Mayo Clinic. Also, it being necessary doesn't mean that that's the function of it. What's also necessary to produce fucking testicles is breathing air. Does that mean that air causes it, you stupid fuck?
Oh, you kind of ate that.
And on top of that, I remember one second.
Like, let's say, okay, if you cut people off, you're gonna get strikes. You hit 3 strikes, you automatically concede the debate.
Who the fuck is talking?
I'm confused. Wait, oh, that's Faye. Faye, we can hear the Discord.
Oh, bitch, my bad.
But no, I was saying, when I debated him one time, he lied. He was on the panel. It was on Faye's panel. It was me versus Liberated Charlie and fucking him. And they lied when I gave him the source for the woman who, because I asked for necessary conditions for male and female. He gave them female. I didn't even get to male before they ran. I showed the source with the woman who didn't have ovaries nor Mullerian structures. Charlie read the first sentence and fucking skipped over the part where it said that she said it was rudimentary, but that's not what the first sentence said. So that was that. And they didn't show the 3 screens. They kept saying, oh, you're trying to get the life taken down. And I wasn't. The screens would never get the life taken down. Where it said that there was no ovaries and no Mullerian structures present. And they lied about it. So then he asked me, do you know what concomitant meant? I was like, no, what does it mean? He's like, he said it means that it's still ovaries there. So I went and looked up the word. Like, wait a minute, no, it doesn't. Concomitant just means that the ovarian dysgenesis was just accompanied by the MRKHS. Didn't mean that there was still fucking ovaries there or even streak ovaries. It was no ovaries and no Mullerian structures, which means that their female necessary condition was mute. And then I also know for a fact that his necessary conditions were, I didn't argue like how deep you did, but I just knew that his necessary conditions were not necessary. And I had PMIDs and I put them in the chat, but he just...
Exactly.
I just want to add on as well that I asked him a question and he said, I'm going to respond to everything that you said and answer your question. And when he finished responding to everything I said, he literally said, no, I'm not going to answer your question after I asked him to just answer the question at the end of his response. Like, did y'all all hear that? Like, am I going crazy?
Yeah. He's like, that's why you got to put him on YouTube. The one I was telling you about is on YouTube. You can see him lie about.
Bro, he got humiliated. Dead ass, like humiliated.
He's humiliated. He's an idiot.
His source said that his proof was that SRY gene is necessary. That is having oxygen flowing through the fetus's blood also necessary? Yes or no? Does that mean that oxygen causes balls? What now? What's going on here?
He's just going to restructure his argument and come back.
Literally, wait, I really want to talk about, for everyone here, about how he's fucking wrong. Do you guys mind if I talk about the gonorrhea thing? Because he's literally wrong about that.
Yeah, that just means you can't change gametic production, right? Doesn't mean...
And I just want to point out
there's literally... Leo up here. Wait, that's my question. Do I have to strip everyone of their mod again?
That wasn't
me. Let that bitch up here.
I just want to add on as well. There's literally a source that you guys can all go look. It literally says that... in many cases, the SRY gene is going to be unaffected. So, like, saying that the SRY gene is non-functional is, like, literally fucking false. Like, there's literally a source that says unaffected. unaffected. What more do you want?
That's also referring to function, by the way. But I want to explain why the thing about the SRY cores of gamete production. And his thing was because it said sex reversal. His rebuttal to that was saying, okay, it defines sex reversal. Did you read how it defines sex reversal? I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, yeah, so it defines sex reversal as being change in the threshold trait. Right? And then he said threshold trait just means necessary condition. So after that live, because he ended up kicking me when I was like going to look at what the fuck he was talking about.
I'm gonna go to bed. Well, I'm not gonna go to bed, but I'm gonna get off this live. Thank you everybody for the gifts. It was a nice discussion. Well, I lied. It wasn't a nice discussion. It's never a nice discussion with Nate. But
take the fucking W, David. Take it. Take it.
It was a W.
Yeah, you got that.
And Faye, I'll see you. I see you in the Discord call. I'm gonna join that in a bit.
Oh yeah, no, we're going. We're debunking Nate's shit right now.
I just want to finish really quickly about the gonorrhea thing. So I went to go look at what he meant when he said threshold trait, right? And when I looked, he actually kicked me. And then I was looking at it later in the day. Do you know what the article defines the threshold trait as? It defines the threshold trait as the literal sex. So when it says a change in the threshold trait, that means a change in the sex.
No, that's right, sister.
The fuck?
He got stout.
By the way, it said, yeah, so the fish literally produced male gametes. And were like swimming around and shit. It was a male with gametes. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know why it is that anyone is surprised. Like, we've heard him change his position several times, especially when analogies were given. He did it with Nas. He just did it again with David. He knows that he's lying. That's why, and he'll act obtuse, and then he'll change the conditions of the hypothetical. And in the hypothetical that he gave David, he was presupposing the outcome as to only limit the response that David could give. It is clearly the case that in the case of the light switch, the switch could be working, and the wires could be working, but the bulb could be faulty, and therefore the light switch is the light is not going to turn on. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the switch or the wiring. It's just the bulb. So
exactly,
he's a liar, and I don't know how many times we have to go through the case of pointing out that he's a liar.
Yeah,
I think Nate is trans and is fighting it.
I highly hope that's not true. But anyway, so what? Also, another thing that doesn't make sense is because in his definition, it's possessing a functioning sex-determining region gene of the Y chromosome. Which, by the way, him saying sex-determining region gene of the Y chromosome is like saying deoxyribonucleic acid instead of just saying DNA. He's trying to sound fucking smart. So he's saying possessing functioning sex-determining region in the Y chromosome in conjunction with complete and majority androgen receptivity, or the uptake of an analogous or homologous gene in conjunction with complete and majority of androgen receptivity. If you don't meet these, you'd be female, right? I asked him, what do you mean by majority androgen receptivity? Because no actual paper will say majorative androgen receptivity, because the way he frames it is complete or majority. So complete, I assume, would mean being complete in male ranges, or in majority in that case would be 51% at least, but no paper does that. They only simply say whether or not the gene that handles testosterone absorption in cells is defective or not, and then they will show the secondary sex characteristics and development of the person, and then that would indicate whether or not it's majority receptive. It doesn't actually explicitly say it's going to be majority receptive or completely receptive. It doesn't. So that's literally just him adding a trap in there. That's like him framing the necessary conditions as a article from ednamo.com.
If you want to keep talking about it, let's just join the Discord. I'm gonna hop off live so I can edit that whole debate video.
Please post it. Thank you.
Yeah.